Your partner was killed? Yes, that's correct. His body was recovered and taken to a local church of the God of the Worthless Miracle. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire, here to bring you the next step of our first edition Pathfinder Investigator Guide. Today, we are going to start the journey down their extracts. Now, extracts, just to reiterate and bear in mind, these are basically your spells, and we'll go over this again in a moment, but these do a lot to help further enhance your investigator's capabilities. And really, you've got some interesting options and quite a bit of flexibility with all of this. But before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. Now we'll actually start going over this, and just to reiterate, extracts are your spells, but normally limited in use to just yourself, unless you pick up the infusion ability through your investigator talents. Your spellcasting stat is your intelligence score, and the saving throws then are 10 plus the spell level plus your intelligence modifier, which will also give you bonus extracts the higher that is. You can prepare the extracts by studying your formula each night and getting sleep. You can learn new formula from other alchemist formula or other investigators, so you can actually end up knowing quite a bit of different spells to make use as part of your extracts. It's an incredibly great way to enhance yourself as well as potentially boost and support your party even further. And to that end, we're going to start going over the extracts now. For your level 1 extracts, first we have Tears to Wine. Target a 1 cubic foot every 2 levels worth of liquid within 10 feet of you. For 10 minutes per level, you turn the target into mead or wine that gives a +2 enhancement bonus on intelligence and wisdom based skill checks. This increases at +5 when you hit caster level 9 and +10 at caster level 15. So this is a first level spell that will just keep on growing and growing with you and maintain its usefulness as time goes on. And the fact that this is going to be affecting intelligence and wisdom based skill checks is a great boost for you. So if you're really needing to research something absolutely critical, some very rare, very esoteric information that lay within one of your many knowledge skills, well, between your inspiration ability and this particular spell, you should have very, very, very little trouble meeting that difficulty. Next is Adhesive Spittle. Target 1 creature within 15 feet and spit a viscous liquid that works like a tanglefoot bag that lasts 2d4 rounds and uses your spell save DC for the target, who must make a reflex save to avoid being stuck. So it's a ranged attack, but you don't really have to actually make an attack roll. The target just makes a reflex save. And while there are some people that don't particularly like this, but I do, because while it is not a massive area of effect, being able to lock down one target in place for at least 2 rounds can be very helpful. You're just going to want to be a little bit careful in the targets that you want to select and pin in place. Though the fact that your spell save DC is going to outpace the save DC that a Tanglefoot bag is able to produce is a nice little added benefit to this. Following that, we have Long Arm. For 1 minute a level, your arms grow and grant an additional 5-foot reach. Definitely something handy for a class that is wearing light armor and has a d8 for hit points, but is still meant to get into the thick of the melee. This will give you that little bit of extra reach to deal damage to your targets and will make your strikes that much more effective while keeping you alive and in the running for many, many, many encounters. Well, with the duration there, 1 minute, that could get you through like 1 or 2 encounters, 1 big encounter, or a very, very dangerous and deadly boss fight. But also to that end, we have Enlarge Person. This is one that makes infusion worth getting. Enlarge one humanoid creature to the next size category. This gives a +2 strength bonus, -2 penalty to dexterity, and a -1 size penalty to AC. The target then occupies a 10-foot space and has a 10-foot reach and lasts 1 minute per caster level. So, definitely great spell to have there, and you can put this on yourself and combine it with long arm and have a 15-foot reach. You have a staggeringly massive threatened area. So this combination will pair nicely with combat reflexes, for example, as a feat to pick up. So you can threaten a wide area, deal a significant amount of damage, and the fact that we are still making some use of our strength, though that -2 penalty to dex does hurt us a little bit, the boost to strength will help to offset that with a decent damage output. Then we have Shield as our next spell. Create a shield of kinetic force that gives a +4 shield bonus to your armor class and negates magic missile attacks targeting you. So you're not going to have a whole lot of shield bonuses as an investigator, so having this spell will keep you covered for a significant portion of your adventuring career. The fact that this also negates magic missile attacks is just a nice bonus on top of that, because at lower levels, enemy spellcasters do still love their blasting spells. Magic missile is just a very common staple. Having a way of negating that when you have such a low hit point total is really nice early on. Now, for a more interesting spell, we have Crafter's Fortune. Target creature within 25 feet plus 5 feet every 2 caster levels, and for 1 day a level, they gain a +5 luck bonus on its next crafting check. This is perfect for you, especially if you're making any money off to the side, operating a business as an alchemist or as just part of your investigator career, if you're selling your services as an investigator. All the way around, this is a great utility spell. However, it is only a utility spell. You're not going to be using this obviously in the midst of combat, but for what it is, it's incredible to have because there's not a lot of luck bonuses like this. This is a pretty significant bonus, especially at level 1. And if you've maxed out your craft alchemy skill, you're going to be sitting on a pretty tidy bonus before you even roll a d20. Now, as an example of a spell to just outright avoid, we have Alleviate Addiction. Touch target creature, and for 1 hour per level, the target ignores the effects of addiction. Then they can recover from damage caused by their addiction if under the effects of the spell for their entire resting period. Now, as far as something that's very representative of how a character thinks, feels, operates, this is a spell meant to help people. So any character that takes this spell automatically gets some pretty solid points, especially if they're using this in incredibly helpful ways, namely helping people recover from addiction. That's generally an inherently altruistic thing to do. However, in terms of mechanics, this isn't something I would really focus on picking up first and foremost, because bear in mind, you're an adventurer, you're an investigator, you're going to be dealing with some significant threats, or you're going to want ways of being able to have bonuses allocated in other areas that will assist you in adventuring. For example, Crafter's Fortune, it's a significant bonus to a crafting skill for you or your party, and the items that are crafted can be incredibly useful over the course of your adventuring career. Alleviate Addiction is nice for story elements or for creative solutions to particular problems. Say you need to get information out of a nobleman, but they're very recalcitrant. They're not willing to share what they know. But say they have a child or another loved one, somebody significant to them, who is under the throes of a very horrible addiction. You can break the spell out, help the person that's so dear to them for basically no reason other than, well, in this case, you are doing it as a good story means of maybe getting the person to open up, depending on how you're role-playing it. Maybe you're doing this specifically to manipulate them. Maybe this is just what your character would do. And that kindness through roleplay gets them to open up, gets them to help you and provide the information necessary. So, with a bit of creative thought, this spell can be useful. And DMs out there, if your players select this spell or spells like this, then definitely consider using that as inspiration for those kinds of plot points where those spells can be useful for those moments. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? What other spells or extracts might you recommend to fellow alchemists or investigators out there? Let us know in the comments down below. Hit those like or dislike buttons, and remember, if you've made it this far, you must have enjoyed something, so why not consider subscribing and listing yourself on that incredible roster of heroes? But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.